What's going on YouTube? This is Mermail Abyss coming at you with a very special deck profile. A deck profile actually I haven't seen very many of as of late that I kind of wanted to showcase and see if we can finally get more deck profiles like this out there. It seems like to me as of late we haven't gotten very many, and this deck is very, very close to me personally. This is my Mermail deck profile. We'll get right to it. Now, I'm sure many people who played Mermails know how fun Mermails were back in the day. I'm pretty sure everyone still probably plays them a little bit here and there. It's just lately I haven't seen very many deck profiles for Mermails, and I figured, why not? I'll throw one out there myself. My deck runs 3 copies of the big guy himself, Mermail Abyssmegalo. For those who don't know what Megalo does, he's pretty good. It's when you summon him, you discard 2 water monsters from your hand to the discard pile to special summon him, and upon his special summoning, you search your deck for a spell or a trap card with Abyss in its name. You add it to your hand. The other effect is you tribute a water monster you have on the field during your battle phase, and he can attack again. So you get 2 attacks with him per turn. Next, we go 3 copies of his partner in crime, Mermail Abyssteus. Abyssteus is similar to Megalo. You can special summon it from the hand by discarding a water monster, and upon special summoning him, you search your deck for a level 4 or lower Mermail monster and add it to your hand. Alright, next, I run 2 copies of Mermail Abysspike. Abysspike is really good because when you normal special summon him, you can discard 1 water monster to the graveyard, and you get to add a level 1 or a level 3 water monster from your deck to your hand. He's pretty good. I like to run him off of this one here, my Mermail Abyssgunde. Abyssgunde is pretty good when you send her from the hand to the discard pile by the effect of a water monster. You can special summon a Mermail monster from the graveyard. Now, what I like about Gundy is essentially this deck's Monster Reborn. I mean, I know we have Monster Reborn back now that it's finally off the ban list, but the way I see it in this deck, I want to be able to have more access to get my Mermails back from the grave, or just be able to, in case if I lose my Megalo or my Abyssteus. Plus, she helps you set up for your XE plays, so she's pretty good. I run 1 copy of Mermail Abysslinde. Mermail Abysslinde's effect is when she's when it's on the field, it's discarded and sent to the graveyard. You special summon 1 Mermail monster from your deck, except for a copy of herself. And you can only use her effect once per turn. So she searches out like your Megalo, throws it to the field, and you wouldn't be able to get its special summon effect, being you search out your Abyss spell or trap card, but you still get its battle effect, which is you tribute a monster you have in play during the battle phase, and you can attack again with him. Alright, that rounds off the Mermail engine of this deck. Now, I run a playset of the Prince himself. 3 copies of Neptabyss, the Atlantean Prince. Neptabyss is important to this deck. He's as important to this deck as Megalo is, and Megalo is by far one of the most important cards of the deck. What our Prince here does is, when he's discarded from the hand to the graveyard by the effect of a water monster, you can target 1 Atlantean monster in your graveyard except for Neptabyss and special summon it. And its other effect is, well, you can send 1 Atlantean monster from the field to the from your deck to the graveyard to add a Mermail from your deck to your hand. Now, what I do is I send this fella to the graveyard. I usually search him out with his effect to send him on Atlantean from the deck to the graveyard. Atlantean Dragoons. Sorry, Atlantean Dragoons is really good for this deck because when you play him, when you use him as from the hand, you get to special summon a Sea Serpent monster from your deck. You can add a Sea Serpent monster from your deck to your hand, and then its other effect is your level 3 Sea Serpent type monsters can attack your opponent's life points directly. Next, 2 copies of Atlantean Marksman. Atlantean Marksman's effect is when he's discarded by the effect of a water monster. You can target one set card your opponent controls and destroy it. So he's very useful for either front row or back row destruction. He won't be able to really hit link monsters because you can't set link monsters, but everything else is pretty well open to him. I typically use him for back row destruction usually, because I haven't played anyone that really plays a lot of defense, but that's subject to change, because I know there's supposed to be a flip deck, a archetype coming out that evolves around flip effect monsters, so it's still open. He still has pretty good amount of targets. I run 2 copies of Atlantean Heavy Infantry. Heavy Infantry is the same almost as Marksman, except what his effect is when he's discarded by the effect of a water monster, you can target one face-up card your opponent has, and you discard it. So he's pretty good because he can hit, like I said, back row destruction, front row destruction. He's pretty good. He can actually hit link monsters too. So that's why another reason why I like running 2 copies of him. Alright, that ends the Atlantean engine. I run 1 copy of the Deep Sea Diva. Deep Sea Diva is really good for the deck because you can search. It helps you search out Neptabyss, and it's your 1 tuner for the deck. So being able to open up a Diva and go right into Neptabyss and have both Neptabyss and Diva in play at the same time, you can start accessing a lot of really good plays. Like you can send your, like I said, Heavy Infantry or Marksman to the discard pile. Just add Dragoons to your hand and then fire off Infantry or Marksman's effect, depending on what effect you really want to go off of. And then, as per usual in nowadays meta, I run a playset of the Sea Turtle Kaiju Gameciel. In my honest opinion, guys, I love, as much as I like Kaijus, I just feel like there needs to be more floaters that gets around Kaijus. But until that day comes, I'm pretty sure everyone's going to be running at least 3 Kaijus in their deck. So I run a playset of Gameciel, and that's our monster lineup. For our spell lineup, I run a lot of 1-ofs, but it works pretty well. I play 1 copy of Abyssgale Mizuchi. This is your 1 equipped spell you search with Megalo's effect. It gains your a Mermail monster equipped with this card gains 800 attack power, and then when your opponent activates a spell card, when the spell card resolves, you can discard this card that's attached to your Mermail monster and to negate the effect. I run 1 copy of Moray Greed. It's your pot of greed in the deck. You take 2 water monsters in your hand, put it back in the deck, shuffle, and draw 3 cards. 1 copy of Salvage. Salvage is really good. You target 2 water monsters in your graveyard with 1500 attack or less and add them to your hand. So that's a good amount of the Atlantean monsters. That's a couple of the Mermail monsters like Gundy. I usually use this with Gundy, or I usually use this with either Marksman, or if you need to, if it's in that situation, you can get back your Neptabyss. I run 1 copy of Twin Twisters for back row destruction. Dark Hole and Raigeki for field destruction. 1 copy of 1-for-1 for searching on Neptabyss. And then I run the 1 copy of Torrential Reborn. I'm still in shock, guys, that we managed to get this thing back from the ban list after all these years. Like, this makes me really happy to finally get this back. I mean, I would have been happy with an errata, but they just gave it back to us, so I can already imagine all types of hell this is going to unleash. Alright, that ends spell cards. I don't run a whole lot of traps, guys. I run what I feel is essential for today's meta. So, and I actually found a couple of really fun cards that go in the combos. So I run 1 copy of Torrential Tribute. I was going to run 2 of this card, but I found a card that combos well with Torrential Tribute. I run 1 copy of Torrential Reborn. Now, Torrential Reborn, for those who don't know, is really good with this deck because it functions around your water monsters. And if you use Dark Hole or Torrential Tribute to destroy all your monsters you have in the field, you can then activate Torrential Tribute, summon back all your water monsters that were destroyed by a card effect or by battle, and then your opponent will take 500 for every one that's summoned back, and then because your opponent's field will be completely empty, you have a full field of Mermails or Atlanteans just to go to town on them with. We run the 1 Solemn Judgment, 1 Solemn Warning, 2 copies of the Solemn Strike, and then we run 2 copies of D-Barrier. Now, D-Barrier is typically usually used as a side deck card. I like running it in the main deck because I have found still a lot of decks that run off of, you know, your Pendulums, your XZs, your Fusions, Rituals, what have you. So I still run 2 copies in the main deck because of said reason. Now, you don't necessarily have to run this in the main deck. I choose to only because of how my locals are and stuff like that. Alright, we're going to move on to side deck now. Alright, in my side deck, I run 1 copy of Mermail Abyssgunde, only because I felt like it was needed to have another copy of her around. I felt it was really needed for some reason, but I mean, she's a level 3 to help out your rank 3s, and if you're having a problem with only two Gundies, I keep a third on hand just in case. 2 copies of the newest Mermail Abyssnerei. Nerei's effect is pretty decent. I like it. What you do is you target 1 Mermail monster, you target 2 Mermail monsters you have in the field, discard 1 of them, and increase the attack power of the other Mermail by the attack power of the Mermail you discarded. So she helps out Megalo a little bit, or any other Mermails that really needs it. I would typically use this with Megalo or Neptabyss, but that's just me. 1 copy of Abysslinde. I like Lindy because she's really, like I said in the before, when she leaves the field, basically, you special summon a Mermail monster. So that's a Megalo. I run 1 copy of Salvage, only because I like to have another one on hand in case I feel it's needed in my situations with my locals. I run 1 copy of Abyssgale the Mizuchi and Abyssgale of the cetus. Now, I explained to you what Mizuchi does. What the other one does, Abyssgale the cetus, what it does is virtually the same thing. It increases by 800, and then if your opponent activates a trap card when it resolves, you can discard this to negate its effect. 1 copy of Moray Greed, because I feel like we need to have more pot of greeds in today's meta. 1 copy of Abysssphere. I know some Mermail players don't like running this card. I like keeping it on hand just because your opponent's going to attack directly and you pop this off and you summon out your Megalo. You can you either save your life points or you can take down their monster. It saves you in your tight spots. And then I run 1 extra copy of Torrential Reborn, only because I love that combo I mentioned before so much. I have actually messed up a lot of people's plays using a combination of Torrential Tribute with Torrential Reborn. Like, they will go into an XC summon or something like that, and I'll pop off Torrential Tribute, and then just go Torrential Reborn, and they basically have to end their turn at that point because they've done all the summoning they can do. They've done the normal summoning and whatnot, and you wreck their field. Alright, going on to extra deck, guys. 2 copies of Mermail Abysgaios. I like Gaios. He's pretty decent. He's only like rank 7 XC I play in this deck. I haven't really found a need to run any others because I usually try to keep my Megalos and my Abysssteuses in play if I can. But it's just me, my own personal opinion. 2 copies of Bahamut Shark. Bahamut Shark's important to your extra deck, guys, because with Bahamut Shark you can special summon a Water XZ monster from your extra deck that's ranked 3 or lower. So with that being said, I run 2 copies of the Toadally Awesome. I don't run frogs in this deck. I felt it was needed to run frogs in this deck. I know some people like to run frogs in this deck, but it doesn't suit how I play. And I just felt that, you know, I like the idea of being able to get Toadally Awesome out faster with Bahamut Shark. 2 copies of Abyss Dweller. And then 2 copies of Abysstrite. Normally, I don't see very many Mermail players play her, but I felt like in this deck I can give her a shot. Plus, 2,800 defense points still does a lot, in my honest opinion. And her effect is pretty good. For those that don't know it, it's during either player's turn, when your opponent targets exactly one face-up mermail monster you control for an attack or a spell trap effect that could have targeted this card, except during the damage step, you can detach one XD material from this card. That attack effect now targets this card. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, target one mermail monster in your graveyard, except this card, special summon the target. So she's kind of like a monster reborn for this deck. She is a monster reborn for this deck, sorry. And I like having her around because, like I said, I like getting stuff back from the graveyard. That's just my honest opinion. I like getting her stuff back from the graveyard. I mean, I understand that her effect is a little bit on the conditional side, but that's just how I play, I guess. One copy of Trishula. One copy of, a Moray Dolphin? Aura Dolphin? And then to round off the extra deck, our Link Engine. I run 3 copies of Mistar Boy. I cannot tell you guys how important Mistar Boy is to the deck. Basically what they did was they decided, let's make a Link monster for Mermails. Because he gets back, when he leaves the field, you get a water monster back with a discard pile to the hand. So you get your Megalo back, you get your Abyssteus back, a Gundy back, you get an Atlantean back, you get a freaking kaiju back probably. It all depends on you, as long as it's a water monster. And then on top of that, he gains all water monsters will gain 500 attack power from him, including himself. So he's actually a 1900 attack monster on his own. So that's just how I play, guys. This is my Mermail deck profile for you. Please like, subscribe. The deck list will be in the description below. This is Mermail Abyss signing out.